Delta Sigma Theta? I didn't know that.
I did not see something peeking over there. I thought I did. Yeah, no,
Oh,
hey,
okay, loud and
I'm
proud. That's cool.
I own mine because if they not celebrating, then they in the grounds.
Some of your toughest critics
Oh,
are the people that you grew up with, like some of the biggest haters.
oh, absolutely. I mean, don't sleep. Waco's beautiful.
Well, hey, folks, welcome here to Mic Check with Micah, where the goals are always to inspire, inform, and entertain. And this morning, we're getting a little bit of all three of them. We do have Waco City Council member Andrea Barefield. And if you know, you know, she's highly involved in the community. You see her face everywhere. And believe it or not, this is our first time crossing paths. Granted, it's virtually, but hey, how are you doing? Kind of, if you want to do a brief introduction of yourself.
Well, I'm so glad to be here with you, Micah, and all. Uh, I have really enjoyed watching you light up the morning in our community. So we appreciate you being here. I'm Andrea Barefield. I am a native Wacoan, daughter of former Mayor May Jackson. Incredible wife to WISD instructor now, former administrator, mother of two, one graduate, one almost graduate, um, and a dog mom. I have I got elected in 2018, and I work for an engineering firm. Let's see, in my spare time, I am president of the Texas Association of Black City Council Members. I'm a board member for Texas Municipal League. I'm a board member for National League of Cities. I am a board chair for Prosper Waco. Um, um, so that wait, I'm missing something, but it's on the list somewhere. But I'm a good financial member of Waco Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. I'm a good financial member of Waco Central Texas Chapter of the Links, um, and some other stuff. And I bake.
Look, you said spare time. That don't sound like spare time to me. It sounds like community involvement and work, which is good. I didn't know that you were okay. Delta Sigma Theta. I didn't know that.
I did not see something peeking over there. I thought I did.
Like Alpha for Alpha. Well, no, it's so great to meet you. So you are Waco through and through. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your background. Off camera, you were telling me you went to Connolly ISD.
I did. I am a proud cadet. Class of. It's been a
Yeah,
minute.
you gonna keep that to yourself?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
hey,
okay, loud and
I'm,
proud. That's cool.
I own mine because if they not celebrating, then they in the ground. So, class of '94, I went to Sam Houston State University. So, eat 'em up cats. I lived in Austin for a few years. I lived in Houston for 14 years almost.
Oh,
Both my sons were born in Houston, and we've been back in Waco this year makes 10 years.
so tell us, a lot of people, especially the people my age, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Austin! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Houston!" Even when I tell them I'm in Texas, they're like, "You in Dallas? No. Houston? No. Austin? No. Gosh, no." Tell us a little bit about why you made that move back to Waco from those big cities to Waco, which is growing and thriving.
So 100. When I left from here, I was not coming back. You couldn't have told me, you wouldn't have written a book, you wouldn't have read a book that said Andrea was going to be back in these Waco streets. It was like, nah, I'm good. Just because it was a different city, right? Now, when I moved back in 2015, my husband and I, kind of made a decision to, um, for our family to slow it down and size down a bit as far as our community. Um, and Waco at that time even was different than when I left it. One of the things that I'll say is, Waco's always been big enough to give you most of what you wanted, but small enough to give you exactly what you needed regarding community. Um, but you know, it ebbs and flows in time. And so 2015, I got back, and that was as downtown was redeveloping, as different things were happening. I mean, at that point, Magnolia was just getting its foothold. The city leadership, chamber leadership were kind of changing the way they did developing industry here, and the workforce was changing. So it was just time, right? And we finally are growing into the city that we were always destined to be. You can't tell me that by virtue of geography alone, Waco is not like exactly where it should be, because we are 300 miles from most any major metroplex, right? Very easy to get to, beautiful. I mean, don't sleep. Waco's beautiful. I've been a lot of places all over this country, all over this world. Waco's pretty picturesque. And, so you're growing a family, you're starting out even single now, I would say. Now, I wouldn't say that before, that there was a lot of to-dos for young professional people, but we're working on that. Redeveloping our downtown, really engaging in various food culture, bringing the arts in. Those are all things that were important to me, and which is, one of the reasons why I was like deuces. And so, you know, there's no reason for me to be here and not make sure that the next generation, it becomes a question whether I'm going to stay. Like my sons are 17 and 18. And so I want to make them think about, well, I mean, I could stay here and do this, or because industry has changed, and cultures have changed and opportunities have changed. So I don't want it to be a no-brainer for people coming in or out. And with us being a part of millions of people's homes for 10 years now, 11 years now, I mean, we're kind of a thing. So the world knows what we've always known, and now more people are coming to see it.
And I will say, even when I took this job, I always tell people, yeah, I'm going to Waco because people know of Waco. They know of Baylor and they know about Waco and they know about the past. However, it's changed
Oh,
since
God.
then. I mean, even just visiting, and listen, don't talk about me. But I was in Waco about 2 weeks ago. I had no idea Waco had the Fuzz Lab. I knew that was in Austin, but I was like, oh my gosh, Waco is bringing a lot of things. I mean, I like, again, y'all mind your business, Micah, off the clock, not on the clock. But places like True Love Hotel, Herringbone, I love me a good rooftop bar. I don't even drink anymore, but just I was
But
like,
I mean, but it's the spot, right?
yes.
And I
It's
was
just
like,
a
this is
beautiful
going.
view and just a place to just meet and mingle. Like Waco has so many. I mean, the suspension bridge, where I forgot what it's called, where the Levitt Music Amp series is
Oh, District
held.
1, baby. That's my district. That's the Bridge Street
That's you.
Plaza. Yes.
Okay, are we talking? It just has so much and it is growing even more. And that's part of what we want to get into with this conversation, but a little bit later on. I know that we've interviewed you in the past when you first became a Waco City Council member, but I mean, what is that decision of like, hey, I'm gonna run for city council, especially in the same district as your mom?
I say this all the time. Children of politicians and pastors have two choices. You either run to it or you run from it. And I was real okay with just being a good civic steward. I was very okay just voting, being aware of my, what's going on in my community and my state. I was very aware. I was cool with that. And when I moved back here, I started working for City Center Waco. I was the Main Street manager when I moved back here. So I was inundated in downtown, right? Downtown and the ring neighborhoods, about how to develop and how to make all those things that are interesting for folks like you in downtown. Well, I started getting back involved in the community. And, I was like, well, what happened to blah, blah, blah. I know mama was starting this and they were looking at doing this and they were doing this study and they were going to redevelop and what happened to this and who's doing that and da 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 da. And I was like, well, somebody needs to run. And so I was looking for someone to run. And it ended up looking at me and I said, well, I talked to my husband, I talked to my kids, and I was like, because this is an us thing at this point. And they were like, I don't know what took you so long. So here we are.
That is so good to, I mean, have that backing and support because I don't think people realize that takes a lot of just time, effort, and just mental toughness because you're really putting yourself out there, putting everything, what you want, your vision, putting your family out there. I mean, you grew up here, and sometimes I feel like some of your toughest critics
Oh,
are the people that you grew up with, like some of the biggest haters.
oh, absolutely. 100. 100.
So this is so cool that I mean you did that and now you've been serving in this role for a while. I want to ask Waco City Council. I mean, there's lots of projects going on left and right. I believe, and you will have to correct me about the number.
Mhm.
This is Micah, who did not prepare a script or anything like that. But I know that one of well, let's first I'll start out with the Waco redevelopment happening. Kind of
Mhm.
tell us if you can give, and I know this is a difficult question, but if you can give an idea of some of the things that are already in place to come that was voted on, and some of the things that are in the works as well.
So we, I guess, last summer began the downtown development roadmap of what it really looked like because we kind of began the first part. So, first section of downtown redevelopment is the section where the Foster Arena are and the new apartment complexes that are down on that side. Catalyst is doing the developing the restaurants and retail shops that will be even under the garage of the parking garage and next to that on down University Parks. And so that was, I guess, the first major phase since I got on council of what we were doing for downtown redevelopment. So the second tier is much bigger. Um, it is been identified as four phases for downtown. So that really realigns where City Hall is and what it does, opens up green space, uh, gives a nod back to our history. One of the things that we've been um, really insistent on is that we don't lose true Waco history and that Waco history is very different than what is portrayed. And so we want to make sure that the Barons Branch area, which was a historic Hispanic community, is identified and recognized for that. So that part of the downtown phase development is kind of centered around La Pia, which is the fountain that the architects discovered right across from St. Francis Church. And uh, really lean into the cultural side of First and Second Street, of kind of where Kendrick Elementary is now, where Indian Spring Elementary was, Indian Spring Middle School was. Um, and the former AJ Moore High School. So I mean, it's all those things. And so then you go on the other side, and you're talking about Sandtown, and you're talking about making sure that the area that housed where AJ Moore High School was is identified and recognized, so you don't lose that piece of African American Waco history. And then there are talks of building a stadium for a minor league baseball team. So, I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of development. Um,
I'm on mute. You would think by now I would get being on mute or not, but this is still an issue. Two things I want to touch on. First off, AJ Monroe, I honestly learned about that in February. And I think I tell people all the time what's the best thing about coming into communities, although I'm not from here, is that I know more kind of about Central Texas then I know back home about Oklahoma City because you are with this job, you're forced to learn and know a community. And I was posting, 28 days of history. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And with that, you find out how it started. Just so cool. So glad you mentioned that. But Barron's Ranch, heard Waco is looking for $15 million for that. Is that correct? And then tell us what that money would be used for.
Um, that portion of Barron's Branch is really to do the infrastructure work. And that because in order to do anything pretty on top, you got to make sure it's stable under the unsexy things, making sure the water lines, the sewer, I mean, all of those things are structurally sound, and those things are old. And so it's gonna take quite a bit to get them where they need to be. So that would be phase one. The other part is, um, uh, just some repurposing and reappointing in positioning and land stuff. I mean, it's the sausage making of it all. I mean, what you'll see is a beautiful plaza and you'll see sitting areas and waterfalls and all of that. What we see is the pipes and the fiber cores for the internet, making sure that that area is Wi-Fi friendly, all those things. And is it structurally sound? And are we going to be doing anything to disturb the brand new archaeological find that they had in La I mean, it's those kinds of things. And making sure that it is sustainable.
Uh-huh.
And because you don't want to build something that costs lots of millions of dollars and it be one harmful to the community itself, or not sustaining and need to be redone in 10 years, because that doesn't make sense.
And so with this, it's gonna build a park, a downtown park. Tell us a little bit about how big it is, where it's gonna be, and kind of if you can paint the picture of what
Um,
the idea is for this, because it seems
um,
really cool.
Pretty beautiful. Now I will say if you go to the City of Waco site, so wacotx.gov, and if you search downtown project, you'll get the renderings of all of the phases. But I mean, like I said, it has multi-level, and because it's so close to Cameron Park, it kind of would put you in the mind. It's an entry point to Cameron, so you're going to see a lot of stonework, a lot of reeds because of the river. Think an amphitheater plaza that's set up but stacked and with layers. So if you were to have a small outdoor concert or something, there would be place for that. There would be sitting areas. It's a lot of water features that will feed into, because the branch itself was a water area, a natural tributary that we over time have been has been covered up. But to reopen that and reimagine what that area looked like in its most natural state. Um, uh, as some say, part of the entry point of what founded Waco. Um, and so lots of pretty greenery, lots of sitting areas, and don't just think benches, think like stones. Um, because if you look those renderings, I remember say it's a bunch of kids that are sitting on a rock, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's some shaded structure, making sure that the areas are accessible for all people to be able to navigate through those areas. So sidewalks that are accessible, but natural pathways too. So it's just kind of an entryway into, our already established 500 plus acre urban park.
And that's the thing is, I feel like every time you walk around, excuse me, walk around Waco, just go through, turn around, it's something new and growing. And so you said with being on the city council, you say you wanted this to be a place where you wanted your kids in place to grow up. Is that kind of the idea, is trying to create, well, first off, I know I got a lot of questions in my head, but first off, I want to ask, how do you balance that? Because you have people on one end, they're like, oh, I like my small, quiet city. But then you have on the other end, you have people who leave oftentimes because they feel like, oh, I see Dallas. I want that life. How do you even manage that as a city council, just hearing all those different voices and knowing how to make your decisions?
Oh, and trust, we do hear both sides, and we're responsible to hear and listen to both sides. But there is a solution that I think everybody to any problem that everybody will be comfortable with. And I think that we have been dedicated and committed to making smart growth as opposed to just growth. Because some people, I don't want to be, and I mean no disrespect to any city, but like Austin kind of hemorrhaged. I don't want that. We don't want that. Because then that would change the face of who and what Waco is. We want to do smart growth that makes sense for us. But we have to look at the fact that if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Mhm.
And, in order for my needs at 20 are not my needs at 48. And I have to make sure that the needs that I have are met. And if it's not available, if it's not attainable, my needs at 68 will be different. My needs at 88 will be different. And so, we have to grow and evolve to meet our city and our community's needs.
And speaking of, and I know I'm kind of all over the place with my question, but speaking of growing and evolving, listen, y'all. You better wake up early in the morning. Uh, speaking of that, I know something that happened last year, 2024. I don't remember when, but Waco water conservation. Think of infrastructure that comes with all this development and growth. You kind of mentioned it, but how else is the city looking at better streamlining that? Maybe a point to where people don't have to can conserve the water year round because I know this not only and that's a hard thing. And not only does it impact the city of Waco, but other cities who use Waco's water in surrounding cities.
Water, Micah, I don't know if you know, is probably more valuable than gold right now. There are communities in our state, even just a few counties that are south of us, Williamson County, they can tell you when they're going to run out of water. No one should be able to tell you when they're going to run out of water. But they can because it's not that far off. Because of, really rapid growth, and the amount of water that those large companies need, to sustain themselves, that decreases what they have. And we're fortunate right now to not be at that space where we're in danger of running out of water. But in order for us to not be there, we have to make smarter choices. And so what we're looking at is how conservation will help us keep water, in our lakes, in our community. But also legislatively and from policy perspective, we've worked. Representative Curry has put forth a bill for the Central Texas Water Alliance, which is us, Bell County, several of the water districts, working to make sure that from a policy perspective, we have ways to protect our communities and to maintain our water levels and water rights. I think it's a good idea. I think that, we'll as it evolves, because it's a new thing, we'll figure out how to fine tune it for that each community is receiving exactly what they need or as close as possible. But you have to be smart and strategic. So I don't ever want people to think that we're taking away from you, because I mean, I know folks are serious about their lawns and their lawn of the month and all the things. But I'm not telling you you can't water your yard. I'm telling you that if you want to water it every day, you're going to stand out there with the hose. We can't have the sprinklers on because that is excessive. And and I mean, I'm the person who had to turn all my sprinkler systems off because I had like six heads busted and I didn't know where they were coming, but I just knew water was running down the street. And that's foolish. But so now Andrea or Elijah has to stand out in the front with the hose. It'll be all right. We need that exercise. So I'm not telling you you can't. I'm just telling you that you're gonna have to do it a better way that is long standing for your for your community. Your grass might be good, but if no one else has water, it's not gonna work out.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because even when I moved here, I was like, "Ooh, what's going on? All these cities. First of all, I came in the summer, and then I was like, okay, this. It's summer 2023. I asked them, I said, y'all, when's it gonna stop being
That's like
110
the
degrees?
hottest summers.
They said, maybe during September. I was like, oh, okay, okay. This is it. That's cool, I guess. But yeah, when I first got here, I remember talking about Waco, asking to conserve water, and now moving here, to where you all do have this plan in place. And then you mentioned Representative Pat Curry. I spoke with him about that, Central Texas Water Alliance, which as of April 8th, to my knowledge, it's passed in the Senate. And then there was a identical bill that was written in the House, which is out of committee. So it's now needs to go to the House floor to discuss. But yeah, Waco is definitely moving and growing. When can people expect to really reap the benefits of all these downtown changes? Number one. And then two, East Waco. People always talk about East Waco really needing improvement and not to be forgotten what's being done for East Waco. So it's two questions. When can we start seeing these downtown things and then East Waco, what's happening over there?
I think you'll start seeing downtown things. I mean the large downtown plan is a 15, 20-year plan. So don't expect that tomorrow. You'll see things that are adjusting, and I will even put my shameless plug in because my STEAM center is right there at the river, and I think that'd be an incredible addition to our downtown development because it is an opportunity to uh, provide STEM education, edutainment for Wacoans and our near family from K to Gray to experience all things STEAM. So that part will happen January 26th. And as a foray into East Waco, I will say that over the past 8 years, I think the city of Waco has put in about roughly 15, $20 million in infrastructure and work and development work or incentive work into East Waco. Now, is it where it needs to be? No. I mean, when I grew up here, when Quinn was here, when Paul Quinn College was here, East Waco was an epicenter of business and culture, and we suffered a great loss when Quinn left because a lot of those businesses that aligned Elm Avenue and Clifton Street and Waco Drive were connected to Paul Quinn College, not necessarily directly as in for the college, but those people who were professors and those people who were administrators or janitor, they all owned businesses that were in and out of that area. So when the college left, those businesses left, and that is when the neighborhood began to suffer because those business closed and those buildings were began to die. We have the opportunity right now to revive and there have been quite a few businesses that are coming back to Elm Avenue. The farmers market just moved to Bridge Street Plaza, which is a really great space for them. We're working on making sure people know not to walk across the street and not look for the cars because there are no lights there. Um, don't walk across the street without looking for the cars because there are no lights there. Um, don't park in front of anybody's house because they got to get out of their driveway. I mean, those are things we're working on, but we have to learn how to dance with each other. It's all things are new and we work it out. But there is one of the things I'll say is I don't care how much disrepair East Waco is in, it's never going to lose its spirit. It ever. Because the great thing is that the businesses left, but the residents didn't. And what makes a community is not buildings, it's people. And so, we've got a resilient and strong community. And so I brag all the time because I have the most geographically diverse district of any of my council members because I not only have East Waco proper, all of it, I have parts of North Waco, parts of South Waco, and TSTC. So when we're talking about building and making sure to sow into East Waco, it's like a stone's throw to make sure that South Waco is also living and being revitalized. You know, there's a big swath of city-owned property that hopefully will be um, some really great housing soon. Um, because we've got opportunity to create neighborhoods that are not just in West Waco or not just in, I mean, large neighborhoods. And I'm not talking about small, one-offs. I'm talking about large communities. We're starting to build. There's actually two neighborhood communities that are looking to be built in East Waco that hadn't been a new neighborhood built in East Waco in a whole bunch of years. Um, we're exciting things like the Central Texas Food Bank is moving a satellite campus here and to Waco. And so that will be in East Waco, right at Golson and Herring. And I mean, one, just the benefit to the community as a whole, and the surrounding communities, because like our all of the foods that our nonprofits issue out have to come from Austin. So once that is in-house, then that means that the 18 of the surrounding counties, they don't have to go as far either, and we'll be able to do more work. But they also have opened their doors for community to come in and use the facility. I mean, I was like, wait, y'all got lunch? Great, down the street. I don't have to worry about it. Go in and grab a bite and do those kinds of things within communities. There are things that we still need in East Waco. You know, where I used to work at City Center, that was my aunt used to work. It was Atlanta Life Insurance Company, and she used to work in that building. And I was like, well, we need those type of professional buildings to come back. And I understand that now. Um, I think it's their therapist will office there. So I need my dentist to come back over like Dr. Radford did back in the day. You know, where are the doctors? Where are the attorneys? I mean, we're working on space like that for that. You've got plenty of opportunity still to build and grow. I mean, we just got three brand new hotels in East Waco, and that was a huge feat. Took a lot of time, but they're here, and I think the Even is celebrating their 1 year anniversary tomorrow or Thursday. So, I mean, it's good stuff. You know, we've increased the number of jobs. We've increased the kind of the footprint of housing. We've had some bumps along the way, but I don't know that had we not begun the process that we would have known. And I would rather it bump and fail on the beginning end than fail miserably at the end. So making smart decisions, pulling back when we needed to pull back, and no, now's not just the time for that. Um, Makes a lot of sense. We got the first bank in East Waco since the 1930s. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff.
Lots and lots of project progress. I'm glad to see it. Real quick, in I guess 20 seconds or less, if you have anything else you would like to say, or we should just know.
Oh, well, I mentioned the STEAM Center, 20 seconds. That is just mean, Micah. Um, but Waco's on the rise. We are working to make sure that our residents, Waco and Wacoans, have an opportunity to grow, their family to grow and prosper in this community because it's worth that. And your family deserves to be here. And so we can only do that if we make sure that the things that families need are here. And so that is what you can count on your council for doing.
All right, thank you so much for coming on and just talking with us about personal and as well as what's happening with the city of Waco. Thank you so much for joining us here for Mic Check with Micah on the free KCE and 6 Plus streaming app. See you when I see you.